Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you all are fine and safe. Today in chemistry lesson we will study about how can we write simple equations. Before we studied, we have learned about word equations, and we said these equations can summarize the chemical reactions that we are using. But it's so hard to identify amount of reactants and products inside a word equations. So that's why we are using symbols. Symbols make us see the reactants, the products, and how can we balance them. And also it's easy way to write an equation. So now please open your notebooks and write down these notes with me. Writing simple equations. From these notes, I'm going to explain the lesson, and then we can go back to the book, read, and explain more about it. So, balanced simple equation shows. So, what this balanced simple equation shows us? It shows the formula, how atoms rearranged, and relative amounts of reactants and products. So the formula of the reactants and the products also, and show us how the atoms rearranged inside the chemical reaction with if this chemical reaction is displacement reaction or another kind of reactions. So it shows us how these atoms rearrange themselves in the reaction, and also show us the relative amount of reactants and products. So how can we write these simple equations? So you need to follow these steps. You have to write the word equation. This is very important. You have to write the word equation, and then you can write symbol equation. So write the word equation, then put the chemical symbol or formula under each reactant and product. 3. Balance the equation if it's unbalanced. So I gave you an example here for FeCl2, which is iron chloride. Iron chloride plus zinc. Iron chloride plus zinc. In this reaction, we will see the iron chloride plus zinc. These are the reactants. Okay, and in this side, these are the products. So this is a displacement reaction, which zinc chloride plus iron. Okay, let's take a look over these atoms. I have here in the reactants one molecule or one atom, and I have 2 chloride. Okay, let's go to the next to the products. So if I take a look here over this one, Fe, and to the products, I'm gonna find only one Fe, not Fe2 or Fe3 or anything. So the iron here is balanced in both sides. Okay, let's take a look over the chloride. This one, Cl2. Okay, go to the product side and we will find Cl2. Okay, what about the Zn? I have one Zn here and one Zn there. Okay, so this is balanced equation. Okay, what about the unbalanced equation? The unbalanced equation, I have here Zn plus HCl, ZnCl2 plus H2. Okay, take a look over Zn here. Zn1 and one Zn here. What about HCl? Okay, let's take a look over the hydrogen here. hydrogen 1, and I have H2. Oh, that means it's unbalanced. I need to balance the H. Okay, so if I have here H2, that means I need to add here 2 for the H in the reactant side. In the reactant side, I need to add another 2, big 2. Okay, let's take a look over the Cl. Cl here 1 and Cl2. That means one atom of the reactants and 2 atoms of the products, and this is unbalanced. We need to balance both sides. Okay, so how can we balance this one? I need to write here 2, big 2. I cannot write it down here. No, that means for the chloride only. But H2, 2H here, and the 2 goes for the H and for the Cl also. So if we take a look here in the products, I'm gonna find Cl2, H2. So in this case, I have 2H here, 2H there, 2Cl here, 2Cl there. In this case, we balance the equation. So as I said here in the note, there must be the same number of atoms of each element on each side of the equation, the reactant side and the product side. We have to use the same number of atoms of each element, not just like one element and the other not. No, you have to balance both sides. Okay, now state symbol. What is a state symbol? State symbol, if I want to make my reaction more clear, the reactants and the products, and I want to show you whether these reactants are solids, liquids, solid and liquids, I have to write small letters next to the symbols. Okay, between brackets, I have to write small letters to show the state of these substances. So in both sides. So I'm gonna write, but you have to know and you have to make sure not to write capital letters. We use small letters. So as here, S for solid, G for gas, small l for liquid, AQ for aqueous. Aqueous means substance dissolved in water. Substance dissolved in water. So we have to use, if we want to use to show the state of the substances inside the reaction, we should use these small letters. Now please open your books, page 196, and let's read the lesson and explain more about it. Writing symbol equations. Why write symbol equations? Word equations summarize chemical reactions. They show the reactants and the products. So we use the word equations to show the reactants and the products inside the reaction and make it as a summary. A balanced symbol equation tells us more about the reaction. It shows 3 things: the formula of the reactants and the products, how atoms are rearranged in the reaction, and the relative amounts of the reactants and the products inside the reaction. How can we write the symbol equation? Let's take a look over the zinc and copper oxide. Zinc reacts with copper oxide in a displacement reaction. The products are copper and zinc. Okay, if we want to write or to explain the reaction in this way, it will be hard for us to make people understand it. So I cannot say, or I cannot write about the reaction of zinc and copper. The zinc reacts with copper and the zinc takes the place of the copper and make copper zinc oxide, and in this way the copper will stay alone. This is so complicated and it's hard to understand and confusing. So I'm gonna use the word equation and then symbol equation. Okay, how can I use the symbol equation to write about zinc and copper oxide reaction? So I need to follow these tips, okay, and write balanced symbol equations. First, I have to write a word equation, then I need to put the correct chemical symbol for a formula under each reactant and products. And I cannot guess these. I need to look for these chemical symbols or ask the teacher. I can use a secondary source like the book, the periodic table, or I can look for these on the internet to look for the chemical symbols. Okay, zinc plus copper oxide give us zinc oxide plus copper. Zinc Zn plus CuO, which is copper oxide, give us ZnO, which is zinc oxide plus copper. Second step, I need to balance the equation. If we take a closer look over this equation, we will find the same amount of the products here, Zn, 1 Zn, 1 Zn, 1 Cu, 1 Cu, 1 O, 1 O. So it's balanced. The equation above shows one atom of zinc on each side of the arrow and one atom of copper on each side of the equation, and one atom of copper on each side of the equation. So the equation is balanced. Burning magnesium. We studied earlier about how can we burn magnesium. If we burn magnesium in air, magnesium atoms and oxygen atoms will join together to form magnesium oxide. So magnesium burns in oxygen. The product is magnesium oxide. Follow steps below to write a balanced symbol equation. Write a word equation, write a formula under each substance. Magnesium plus oxygen give us magnesium oxide. Mg plus O2 give us MgO. Okay, if we take a closer look for here, if we take a closer look, Mg1, 1 Mg, I have here O2, but the problem is I have only O in the product side. So I have to balance. I have to write number. So what I'm gonna do is balance the oxygen atom here. I have here 2. I have to write 2. But where should I put it? Here under? No, of course. I have to write here 2. That means, in this case, that means I have 2 magnesium and 2 oxygen. Okay, in the reactant side I have only 1 magnesium. What should I do about this? I have to balance the Mg also. I have to write here 2. In this case I have 2 atoms of magnesium on the reactant side, 2 atoms of magnesium in the product side, 2 atoms of oxygen in the reactant side, and 2 atoms of oxygen in the product side. Second point, balance the amount of oxygen. There are 2 atoms of oxygen on the left and 1 on the right. Write a big number 2 to the left of the formula of magnesium oxide. Do not change or add any little numbers. I cannot add here small numbers. Okay, I cannot add little numbers like mg2. In this case, I'm gonna change the whole formula, the whole product. So what's the meaning of the big 2? The big 2 applies to every atom in the formula that follows it. Here it means that there are 2 atoms of magnesium and 2 atoms of oxygen. There are now 2 oxygen atoms on each side of the equation. The amounts of oxygen are balanced. So in this way we balanced both sides. I have 2 Mg, 2 O in both sides. Balance the amount of magnesium. Add 2 big 2 to the left of the chemical symbol of the magnesium. There are 2 atoms of magnesium on each side. The equation is balanced. So this is the balanced equation. 2 Mg plus O2 give us 2 MgO. Now let's go to the next page. Burning lithium. Lithium reacts with oxygen to make lithium oxide. The formula of the product is Li2O. First, we need to write a balanced symbol like this. So we have how to write this equation with the balanced way. We have to write the word equation and formula under each substance. So lithium Li plus oxygen O2 give us Li2O. In this case, I have in the product side 1 Li here and 2 Li here. That's why we added big 2. Okay, so I have here 1 O in this side here, 1 O. So when I added 2 here, that means the O became 2 also. So I have 2 atoms of oxygen in the product side and 2 atoms of oxygen in the reactant side. Balance the atom amounts of lithium. So I have here 2 and 2. That means 4. In this case, I have 4 lithium atoms. How can I balance this? In this case, I have to add big 4 before the reactant lithium. Before the reactant lithium, I have to add 4. So in this case, I have 4 Li plus 2 O, which is O2, 2 atoms of oxygen. In this case, it will give us 4 lithium and 2 oxygen. Okay, 4 lithium because 2 multiplied by 2, this is 4, and 2 multiply 1 is 1, which is 2 O, 2 atoms of O. There are 4 lithium atoms on each side of the arrow. The last part of our lesson is state symbols. You can add state symbols to an equation. State symbols show the state of the substances in the reaction. They are given below. Do not use capital letters. Here we have small letters, as I said earlier. We have to use small letters for gas, liquid, solid, and aqueous. Okay? Zinc reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to make zinc chloride solution and hydrogen gas. The balanced equation below shows the state of each reactant and product. So here I have solid zinc, aqueous HCl, which is hydrochloric acid, give us aqueous ZnCl, which is zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. So we have to use these small letters to show the states of the substances inside the reaction. Let's take a quick look over the summary of the lesson. So first we have to use symbol equations to make it easy to show the formula, the atoms rearrangement, and the relative amounts of reactants and products. How can we write the symbol equation? First we need to write the word equation, then we need to write the chemical symbols under each reactants and products. Then we have to balance the equations. If we want to show the state of substances, we have to use the state symbols, which are small letters, show the state of the substances in the reaction. So this was all about writing symbol equations. I hope you understood the lesson. Please, you have a homework in page 197, the yellow box, and if you have any question, write it down and I will answer it later. Okay, stay safe and well, and see you soon, inshallah. Bye bye.